culture of wine in Europe predates the Romans. More specifically, in ancient Greece, wine was a praised commodity by poets, historians, and artists. Wine has evolved from a beverage into a part of life and a significant part to cultures. Wine production emerged in Europe with the expansion of the Roman Empire throughout the Mediterranean, where many major wine-producing regions were established and still stand today. With centuries passing, the art of winemaking spread to France, Spain, Germany, and parts of Britain. By that time, wine was considered an important part of daily diet, and people began to favor stronger, heavier wines. Improved production techniques in the 17th and 18th century resulted in the emergence of finer qualities of wine. Glass bottles with corks began to be used, and the corkscrew was invented. Today, the U.S. remains the largest market of wine worldwide. With access to refrigeration, it has become easy for wineries to control the temperature of the fermentation process and produce high-quality wines in hot climates. Although the wine industry faces the challenge of meeting the demands of an ever larger market without losing the individual character of its wines, technology helps to ensure a consistent supply of quality wines.
In order to reduce the waste of the surplus of grapes, wineries and vineyards have been looking into using grapes in innovative ways. This is a common thread in Italian wineries. The carbon footprint that the wine industry leaves in Europe is pretty high, and Europeans are looking for a way to decrease it. In Europe and Latin American countries, the legal drinking age is 18, but it being a norm to drink wine in places like France and England, most people don't abide by these rules. It is still a rule in many countries to have a legal license to sell alcohol. Wine has most often been perceived as a higher quality beverage than highly desired. The age of wine often expresses its prestige. Some research suggests that the tradition of making wine influenced how that country sells it. For example, Australia believed that they could sell wine without tradition, but they failed, and once they changed to tradition, their wine became popular. Other research suggests that younger generations in various different countries, including France, Chile, England, and Germany, are beginning to drink wine more frequently. Although younger people are taking to drinking more wine, in various different countries, drinking alcohol is prohibited because of religious reasons. The UK and various parts of Europe are becoming more multicultural, which means that there can be an impact on the wine industry in that area. In places like France, vineyards were traditionally seen as labor-intensive places, but due to mechanical harvesters, picking grapes has become an easier feat. Vineyards have also been looking into making their machines eco-friendly. Wine being an elastic good has had an impact on how most places sell it. Germany, for example, is more price conscious than the US, and in a study done, the average bottle of wine was €2. Socioeconomically speaking, the prestige of more expensive wine has led to people looking to buy Chilean wine.
For the threat of substitutes, the wine industry is heavily challenged by substitutes of spirits and beer. Spirits and beer are readily available and attractively priced and perform a similar function, which can also satisfy price, value, quality expectations. The reason I rated the threat of substitutes medium instead of high is if one looks at the consumer behavior preference of alcohol trends of the past 20 years, looking at ages 18 to 29 millennials in particular in the United States, Gallup's annual consumption habits poll came out with a survey that concluded that 41% say they drink beer more regularly. That's down from the 71% of drinkers of that age 20 years ago. While the share of young drinkers saying they most often drink beer has dropped by 30% points, the proportion who prefer drinking wine has grown by 10% points to 24%, while the corresponding figure for liquor is now 28%, up from 13% a couple decades ago. Although the trend of wine preference has gone up in the past 20 years, beer is still the most popular in the United States. For rivalry of existing firms, I rated it as strong. The top 3 wine industry leaders in the world are E&J Gallo Winery from Modesto, California, Constellation Brands from Victor, New York, and the Wine Group Inc. from Livermore, California, as found on Hoover's database. Gallo Winery is the leading player in the global wine market. It is a private company and generates 2.7% share of the market's share as of today. They grow and harvest their grapes in California and market 60 brands. They have strong brand recognition, research and development, but lack a preference in the key growing marketing industry channels. Constellation Brands Inc. is the second largest player in the global wine market. They are a multi-category supplier and generate 2.2% of market share. They operate through Constellation Wines and Spirits segment with 18 wineries in the U.S., 9 wineries in Canada, 4 wineries in New Zealand, and 6 wineries in Italy. So they have a strong production and sourcing operations, good digital marketing strategy, but have a weakness of high customer concentration and overdependence on the U.S. market and the unionized labor force. The wine group is the third largest player in the global wine market, and they generate 2.2% share of market share. They market their products in North America, Western Europe, and Asia. And here are the key success factors in an industry matrix to compare the companies to the critical success factors in the wine industry. As you can see, E&G Gallo was rated higher of the two against the key success factors because it is doing so well.
There are a couple factors that come about when looking into threats of new entrants into the wine market. First, looking at the high threats. There is no need for high-intense technologies, which makes it easier for companies to enter the market. This eliminates a huge, unappealing attribute to many other industries. The barrier of entry to enter the market is also low. This makes it more pleasing to potential companies to enter the market, causing more competition. The lower threats to the industry are high capital to build a factory, marketing and brand awareness, and economies of scale. Bottling is a largely expensive process, especially for wine and wine preservation. Companies spend tens of millions of dollars on marketing for their products. To compete with the big guys in the wine industry is a hard feat. In the United States, actually, it has been researched that consumers are not really aware of the wide variety of wine brand names. This is why it is so beneficial for the big name brands. When it comes to economies of scale, new companies also have no chance, which ties into brand recognition. As known all throughout business, without large quantity purchase orders, the cost of producing each unit is going to be pretty high. Simply, many customers create mass production needs, which equals cheaper costs, and being a new entry, it is unsure if new entries to the wine industry will create enough fire to get their product rotating off store shelves and actually cause a threat to current companies in the industry.
Distributors have moderate bargaining power. In the U.S., retailers can't purchase wine directly from manufacturers. Instead, they have to purchase it from local or regional distributors, making operating on a national scale difficult. Regional distributors have most of the power in alcohol sales because they work directly with manufacturers and can negotiate discount rates better. Buyers also have moderate bargaining power. Most of it comes from the high dependency on select distributors and a lack of geographic diversification. The strongest level of bargaining power exists in areas with concentrated food and beverage retail industries. The wine market is dominated by supermarkets, with 4 leading supermarkets accounting for 55% of the market share. Suppliers also hold a moderate bargaining power. The majority of large producers harvest grapes from their own vineyards and ferment and bottle the wine themselves. For low-end wines, producers outsource materials from third-party producers and reserve their own resources for high-end wines. Suppliers have a good amount of mobility as they can enter markets in fruit sugar production or even table grapes. It's common for suppliers to forward.
So in conclusion, we feel that the best way to go forward in the future of the wine industry is to have a forward integration. This means having wine vineyards buy or invest in distribution companies. Because of the legal issues that has been discussed, distribution companies are an important yet costly asset to this industry. The ability to be able to own your own distribution company as well as produce your own wine will give a cost advantage that the market has not seen before.